This is TVC News at 10. Thank you for joining us. We are staying with our coverage of the terrorist attack in Kaduna, where residents are now living in fear, not knowing what will happen the next minute due to the increase in terrorist activities in the state. And 2 days after bandits attacked an Abuja-Kaduna bound train, killing 8, injuring 26, and kidnapping an unspecified number of persons, the rampaging terrorists have again attacked a low-cost housing estate at Kofargayan in Zaria, kidnapping 6 people, including a customs officer and his son. The police authorities are yet to confirm the incident, but a resident of the area told TVC News that the bandits invaded the estate at about 8 p.m. on Wednesday and started shooting sporadically. According to the source, the bandits trailed the officer from his family house in Zaria City down to the estate. 4 others within the estate were later abducted by the gunmen. Kaduna State and several others in the northwest and north-central regions have suffered from banditry in recent years. The gunmen have largely targeted schools and other public facilities, with several persons killed and many others injured in the incessant attacks. Still in Kaduna, relatives of some of the passengers who were kidnapped from the Kaduna-bound train on Monday say the terrorists have contacted them to confirm that their relatives are safe with them in the forest. A very disturbed family member whose mother and sister also boarded that train but were kidnapped told TVC News that no demand for ransom has been made by the terrorists. Lupe Assam has more.
A graduate of the University of Maiduguri, Maimuna Ibrahim, was on the Kaduna-bound train from Abuja, which was attacked by bandits a few days ago. She was shot in the thigh and is being treated at the St. Gerard's Hospital.
So we just started hearing gunshots from both sides, from both left and right. Unstoppable shooting. So finally the train had now stopped. When the train stopped, immediately they now off the lights. They entered inside coach 17 and the VIP session. They kidnapped many passengers there, but I don't know how many. So as they were kidnapping them, they were forcing them out of the train, they were flogging them, and they were saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. They were chasing them. And they are young guys. They were within around 18, 19, 20, maybe let's say highest 22.
Her father, who is with her, says she went to Abuja in search of a job and was on her way back when the sad incident happened. He wants the government to provide the job for his daughter.
Nothing I can tell is only that whether government will fit to help on what she's pursuing. Now she's a graduate for 2 to 3 years now. She has no work to do. She went to Abuja for looking a job. When she's coming back, he's returning back. This is what had happened to her.
10 victims who were also admitted at St. Gerard's Hospital in Kaduna have been discharged. Others with severe injuries were referred to the military reference hospital. Meanwhile, the Kaduna-Abuja highway is now the only option for most travelers intending to get to Abuja from Kaduna. Passengers now troop into motor parks. Most of them refuse to speak on camera. But the drivers who ply the road want the government to deploy more security operatives to guarantee travelers' safety.
To tell you the truth, the road is not secure. That is what is happening now. So they need to put more efforts in order to secure the road.
You'll be traveling, your heart, you'll be blinking, you'll be afraid of the road. You don't know what you will meet or what is on the road.
Some family members of the kidnapped victims are now panicking. They say the bandits have contacted them, but a demand for ransom has not been made. Military operatives are also intensifying efforts to rescue others who are in captivity. And Kaduna State government has promised to take care of the medical bills of all who are injured. Lupe Assam, TVC News.
And as the security situation in some parts of the country continues to deteriorate, leader of the House of Representatives is suggesting that Nigerians be allowed to bear arms in self-defense. Emotions, anger, and frustrations flowed freely as Al-Hassan Adodogua and his colleagues at plenary expressed concerns about worsening insecurity in the country. National Assembly correspondent Jokia Disa reports.
Nigeria is mourning. The Monday night train attack in Kaduna has led to the untimely death of 8 persons, with scores of others kidnapped. As Nigerians continue to grapple with the reality of the train and airport attacks, Shehu Balarabe from Kaduna State rises on a matter of urgent public importance to lament that his people are being annihilated. He says no fewer than 200 people were killed in Birnin Gwari in 2 days.
At the number of times, the Air Force aircraft fighter will come, but I want to assure this house, it will flew left, right, and center as if we are celebrating Nigerian independence, but nothing ever dropped to attack those bandits.
The motion throws the House into disquiet, and emotions laced with anger and frustration are freely expressed.
Nigerians at this moment should be allowed to also take arms. Nigerians must be allowed to take arms in defense of their innocent souls, defend their hard-earned resources and property, because it's like a monumental failure.
It was a no-holds-barred debate as members poured out their frustrations. They say the billions of naira allotted the Nigerian army and other security agencies in the last 3 years have not paid off.
No part of Nigeria is safe. And when such issues come like this, that has to do with the lives of people, you will agree with me, just like on Monday, the attack on that train, the perpetrators of that act were not looking at any particular person from any part of the country, because anybody could have been in that train.
You travel by road, you are kidnapped. You go by train, you are kidnapped. Last week, the airports were attacked by bandits. You sit at home, you are kidnapped. You send your children to school, they are kidnapped.
We have the only sole power to do the oversight, to ensure good spending. Have we done that?
As part of steps to curb rising insecurity, the House renewed its call on the executive arm of government to implement the recommendations of its maiden National Security Summit submitted to it since last year. Joke Edsa, TVC News, Abuja.
Well, let's now take you to Borno State, where the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, says its operations against all criminal elements in the state will not cease until relative peace is achieved there. The state commandant of the NSCDC, Musa Farouk, stated this while briefing journalists on the arrest of 7 persons suspected to be engaging in various criminal activities. Jesse Tafida reports.
It's another successful day for men of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Borno Command. They have been on a consistent patrol in their onslaught against criminality in the state. Now this has yielded positive results with the arrest of 7 persons. They are suspected to be engaged in various criminal activities ranging from theft and vandalism. The State Commandant NSCDC Musa Farouk is here to say more about the success.
Some black marketers were cited with several kegs of petroleum products, particularly PMS. We arrested one Sunday, a male, a driver to a Golf saloon car, with which they conveyed several railway assets. For instance, irons, 60 pieces of railway irons, 7 pieces of railway sleepers. These acts, you all agree with me, offend the spirit of Nigerian economy. And this matter will be treated accordingly within the framework of justice. It's an act of economic sabotage which offends the spirit of our economy. We will not tolerate the continuous vandalism of our governmental assets and want to revamp, want to rejig, want to ensure electricity restored.
The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Borno Command says it will not relent in its quest of ridding the state of criminality. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
Away from insecurity, the former Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Andrew Yakubu, is now a free man. Mr. Yakubu became free after the Federal High Court in Abuja discharged and acquitted him on charges of money laundering. Delivering judgment, Justice Ahmed Mohammed held that the EFCC failed to establish that the defendant received cash payment beyond the 5 million naira threshold. Judiciary correspondent Celestine Area reports.
On 3rd February 2017, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) raided the Kaduna residence of the former GMD of the NNPC and recovered the sum of $9.8 million and 74,000 euros stashed in a fireproof safe. Mr. Yakubu was then arraigned before Justice Ahmed Mohammed on 16 March 2017 on a 6-count charge of money laundering and false declaration of assets. After the EFCC closed its case, Mr. Yakubu filed a no-case submission, following which the judge struck out 2 counts out of the 6-count charge. In his defense, Mr. Yakubu claimed that he had received the monies as gifts and escrows in different trenches. He said he gathered the monies within a 5-year period and decided to keep them in his house, pending when he decides to open a business venture of his choice. He is alleged to have omitted the monies from the EFCC asset declaration form given to him to fill in 2015. Delivering judgment, Justice Ahmed Mohammed held that it is one thing to find money in one's house, but it is another thing to prove that the money was received all at once. He described Mr. Yakubu's evidence as credible, adding that he had no reason to disbelieve it. The judge added that the EFCC did not do a good job in its investigation. A prudent investigator would have asked the defendant to provide the names of some of his friends and other individuals who had given him monies as gift or as goodwill and find out how much each person had given him, and thereafter invite them to find out the truth or otherwise.
Trial started in 2017 and it came to a close today. All we can say is that we give all the glory to Almighty God for vindicating him and for bringing out the truth. One thing is clear, our jurisprudence does not frown at keeping money at home.
The court made a consequential order that all monies collected from the former GMD be returned to him. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
To more stories now. The ad hoc committee investigating the state of the nation's refineries says Nigeria cannot continue to spend an average of 4 trillion naira on petroleum subsidy. The committee tasked the central government to establish new refineries and stop spending billions of taxpayers' money on refineries that are not working. We have details in this report.
Sequel to the committee's second invitation to the heads of relevant government bodies, the Director General Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akabweze, is before the lawmakers. The legislators do not take kindly to the absence of the Minister of Finance, the Minister of State for Petroleum, and others crucial to their assignment.
The submission made by NNPC did not adequately provide answers to the request made to them by the letter.
As the lawmakers get down to business with the DG Budget Office, they say continued spending on refineries that are not producing anything amounts to a complete waste of scarce resources. Also of significance to them is the need for a cost analysis of new refineries since the existing ones are out of date.
We have, sir, in your office, a system for monitoring and evaluation in terms of releases or expenditure made by government in respect of turnaround maintenance, the refurbishment, as the case may be, they normally call it, or the repairs on the refineries.
How many liters per day we get in returns for these 445,000 barrels that is involved in this swapping?
There's no line in the budget for refinery repairs. What is happening in the fiscal framework, NNPC has been allowed to deduct monies upfront from the revenues before remittance.
The chairman gives the committee's verdict after hearing from the Director General.
We owe our people that thing so that we can eliminate completely the issue of subsidy. This 4 trillion can be the channel to developmental projects if our refineries are working.
Dissatisfied with the absence of the Minister of Finance, Minister of State for Petroleum, and other heads of relevant bodies for the second time, the committee resolved to issue them a letter of summons, after which it will order their arrest if they fail to appear. The Bank of Industry is Nigeria's oldest and largest development.
President Muhammadu Buhari has commissioned the Bank of Industry's new office building in Abuja, known as Tower 2. The state-of-the-art building is a 12-story facility and a more sophisticated duplicate of the bank's first office building. Lara Folayan reports.
The Bank of Industry is Nigeria's oldest and largest development finance institution. Over a decade ago, the bank commissioned its first tower office building in the Nigerian capital, Abuja. The bank is now commissioning another one, which is several floors higher than the previous one. The new 12-feet structure, which covers 3 times more ground space and designed to be more sustainable and futuristic, is now being virtually commissioned by the president.
I'm particularly impressed that this world-class building is financed from internally generated revenue of the bank. The Bank of Industry has continued to successfully execute its mandate.
The state-of-the-art facility has features including sustainable energy-conserving smart lighting system, which is motion-activated. It as well has a backup power system with a special panels synchronizer to deliver power according to demand, while ensuring diesel efficiency.
The current board and management decided to revisit the project by entering into negotiations with the contractor and the consultants.
In the last 5 years alone, working alongside our strategic partners, the bank has supported over 3.2 million micro, small, medium, and large enterprises.
The building is monitored by a management system which not only monitors but supervises, controls, and reports on smart building technology systems, including generators, CCTVs, ACs, and other appliances. It as well has a slanted facade of glass designed to shade the building from direct sunlight.
The Bank of Industry is one of the 15 agencies supervised by my ministry, and it is an institution that has added significant value to the federal government's industrialization agenda over the past 62 years.
We have ensured that we work closely with the Bank of Industry to ensure that we're able to complement our efforts in achieving this objective.
The Bank of Industry has a vision of becoming Africa's leading development finance institution in line with global best practices. Lara Folayo, TVC News, Abuja.
The United States government has unveiled plans for its new consulate compound in Lagos State, which will be situated in the Atlantic City. The building will cost about $537 million to complete. Theophilus Ilama reports.
Dignitaries and friends of the U.S. Consulate are gathered to witness what is said to be an epoch-making event, the unveiling of the United States Consulate in Lagos. The location sited in the Atlantic City, a planned city being constructed on reclaimed land from the Atlantic Ocean. The contractor, saddled with the responsibility of bringing this to fruition, noted that the location will provide the future diplomatic campus and its neighbors with access to sustainable and modern infrastructure.
The new 10-story chancery will anchor the project, a bold centerpiece with striking geometric patterns and carved-out forms integrated with trees and gardens. The new consulate will become a model of sustainability and resiliency.
A space that is welcoming, safe, and secure, and respectful for our Nigerian colleagues is the top of our list. We want a space where everybody comes and can feel that they are comfortable along with us.
The new 10-story chancery is expected to support U.S.-Nigerian diplomatic relations. And upward of $90 million is expected to be pumped into the Nigerian economy when construction starts.
We're very pleased to be the host of this new complex,
which I'm told, which they've also confirmed, will be the largest U.S. diplomatic investment, not only in Nigeria, it's going to be the largest consular office in the whole world. For us, this is the clearest indication yet of how important the U.S.-Nigerian relationship are, and a heartwarming window into how serious the U.S. views Nigeria.
This modern building will provide a platform to build on the burgeoning relationship we have with Nigeria in areas including film, animation, music, art, technology, entrepreneurship, and the cutting-edge creative industries that have seen Nigerian artists, tech pioneers, and entrepreneurs take their places on the world stage.
3, 2, 1.
And this signifies the beginning of the construction of the new United States Consulate office. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
The Nigerian Senate has summoned the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the sole administrator of Niger Delta Development Commission, Effiong Akwa, over non-payment of 2.2 billion naira to contractors. The Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions said it was acting on petitions filed by Acom Survey Services Limited over alleged refusal by the minister at the NDDC administrator to pay for the survey carried out in 9 states. There is more in this report.
Trouble for the NDDC as the Minister of the Niger Delta and the sole administrator of the NDDC will have to face the Senate's Committee on Petition. The committee received a complaint against them for non-payment of survey fees amounting to about 2.2 billion naira to contractors.
The rule of the Senate.
The chairman of the Senate's committee, in an interview with journalists, says the committee had written several letters of invitation to the minister and the NDDC boss on the petitions against them, but they have not responded or honored any of them.
Former minority leader of the Senate in the 8th Assembly, your colleagues are calling on you to come over, to come and tell us why these innocent Nigerians have not been paid. If you have a problem of appropriation, we are here for you to give you appropriation. We want you to direct the sole administrator, Mr. Akwa, to be here on 12th of April 2022 to come and tell us why these Nigerians have not been paid.
The chairman of the committee says the minister and the sole administrator must appear before the panel unfailingly on the 12th of April by 2 p.m.
The Senate has also urged President Muhammadu Buhari to constitute a new board without delay to remove what they describe as one man's overbearing influence. TJ Suadeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has pledged a sum of 500 million naira as part of his support for the construction of a new Air Force base in Ajia village, Ibadan. The governor spoke at the groundbreaking ceremony of the permanent site of the Nigerian Air Force Base, Ibadan. Olaide Oyewole reports.
The 671 Nigerian Air Force Detachment was established in 1992 to provide operational support for Nigerian Air Force aircraft operating in the southwest, as well as ensure internal security in the region. The detachment since then had no permanent site, until recently when the Oyo State government allocated about 58.8 hectares of land for the building of the base so as to strengthen the security architecture of the state. Governor Makinde assured that his administration would continue to partner the Nigerian Air Force to improve security in Oyo State.
Indeed, our administration is committed to partnering with the Nigerian Air Force for a better civil-military relationship and improved security in our state. With 500 million naira, it's available, and we want to see rapid construction.
The governor advised the people of Ajia community to be a good host while the construction of the base is ongoing.
So let me use this opportunity to once again appeal to the good people of Ajia community to be accommodating hosts and support our plans to bring rapid development to this area.
Chief of the Air Staff, who commended the Oyo State government for the gesture, said the Nigerian Air Force through this would extend its operation to enhance internal security in the southwest region.
Amongst other benefits of having this new site, the units will be able to undergo necessary expansion to become a full-fledged base and be a staging post to expand the reach of the Nigerian Air Force.
While pledging the loyalty of the Air Force to Nigeria, Air Marshal Amao appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for his continued support in the area of capacity building, as well as creating an enabling environment for them to operate. Olaidio Yewole, TVC News, Ibadan. Elsewhere, the Association of Civil Society in Malaria Elimination, Immunization and Nutrition is urging for more equity in the improvement of malaria intervention outcomes for those in communities. This formed part of discussions at the 4th edition quarterly meeting with partners in Abuja. Kemi Balogun has details. After that, we'll have business news.
In 2019, Nigeria accounted for more than a quarter of all global malaria cases, with a 27% case rating. It is also responsible for about 23% of all deaths around the world yearly. At this quarterly meeting ahead of the World Malaria Day, the concern across this room is how to improve equal access to malaria services for the most vulnerable people and communities. Participants are also focusing on promoting and celebrating the contribution of communities in health interventions.
We need to advance equity, not equity that we all need to suffer equally. It should be the equity that we all don't suffer malaria. We need to build resilience, ensure that our systems are strong, functional, and able to deliver the services that we require.
We have a wide number of states that receive LLI. We have their campaigns that were issued. Of course, we followed sensitization on how to use the net and care.
Malaria prevention is not as prevalent in the urban area compared to the rural areas. It's very high in the rural communities, and most of the challenges that they face include, some of them are not aware, so that community ownership is not there. They don't know that these health facilities that they have, they need to own it, they need to support it.
The group is urging for more accountability and resources to help interventions leading to an end in malaria disease.
The financial value of contributions to Nigeria's health sector from the international community can be tracked. Likewise, allocations from federal and state governments. Where we have the challenges is that the community and the people groups of Nigeria, they can and they should, and they are contributing to their own health outcomes. And where this happens, it should be recorded and celebrated.
Advocacy and shared responsibilities through community participation will make a great difference in the fight towards eliminating malaria permanently. Community interventions will continue to play a key role in the run-up to the elimination of malaria. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
Well, some business news, industry players in the insurance sector have called for the need to establish sustainable agenda in Nigeria as a means to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Blessed Omonose has more.
The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, a shared vision to end poverty, rescue the planet and build a prosperous and peaceful world, are gaining momentum globally. While progress has been made in many places, action to meet the SDGs is not yet advancing at the speed or scale required. To this end, industry stakeholders and players in the African insurance space have converged in Lagos to deliberate on ways to leverage insurance to promote economic, social and environmental sustainability towards achieving a sustainable future for Nigerians.
We are working with the NICOM, National Insurance Commission, here in Nigeria, to
come up with an ESG regulation and also a toolkit that will enable the industry, the insurance industry, to integrate ESG, environmental, social, and governance risks within this particular country.
What is the input into agri?
Other stakeholders who spoke at the event clamor for the need to harness insurance products and solutions to help achieve the SDGs.
We've brought in a team of consultants to work with NICOM, but also to work with the industry in terms of entrenching and integrating environmental, social, and governance-related risks within the financial system.
Our system is too over-centralized, but at the same time too diverse for appropriate consolidation. And I think what is important is to begin to find ways to consolidate all this into something that all of us understand. And then each one of us can take the aspect that is important within our local community and begin to improve it.
A key consideration made at this high-level meeting is the need to shape the sustainable insurance agenda in Africa and strengthen the global effort of ensuring for sustainable development. Blessed Omanose, TVC News, Lagos.
In other news, the Lagos District and Society of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria has attributed the low payment of taxes among small business owners to poor awareness and enlightenment. Addressing journalists at the forum in Lagos to commemorate the 2022 edition of the annual tax week, Chairman of the Society, Dr. Yemi Sani, explained that an improved awareness creation and partnership with government agencies will advance taxation development and get more MSMEs into the tax net. He noted that the society will continue to engage relevant stakeholders in training and designing various aspects of tax administration process, including tax payers filing, assessments, and revenue payments. On her part, Director Informal Sector and Special Duties of Lagos Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Folashade Koka, highlighted the efforts made by the state government in simplifying tax payments for operators in the informal sector.
The event is such that we looked at how we can impact directly on the businesses of entrepreneurs in Computer Village. That was what led to us coming with the idea to bring the Federal Land Revenue Service, the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, and the coalition of associations in Computer Village together so that the relevant authorities can listen to the problems they're having and try to provide the solutions to most of their problems.
We've looked at it and realized that ease of doing business is very key for taxpayers. So Lagos State and the state government has decided that instead of us even having taxpayers look for some of our stations or mini tax stations, let's go into the market space, because we've realized that traders do not want to leave their business to go around even for a minute. So we've decided that if Mohammed cannot go to Mohammed cannot go to the mountain, then the mountain should go to Mohammed. So we've decided to go into the market space and make it easy for traders to pay and also to have the validity of their payment, which is their tax receipts.
Well, moving on, an African Roundtable on repositioning the public sector for better service delivery has held. It was a brainstorming session on how governments could make most of their public service in actualizing the continent's drive towards a sustainable future. Lara Folayan reports.
The public sector is critical to any country's growth as it helps boost socio-economic development while preventing domination and exploitation from external forces. This virtual meeting with participating countries from across the continent now seeks ways there could be a more responsive public sector alongside issues of capacity building and management amongst several areas.
We believe that a respect for the public sector, investing in civic projects, supporting services which benefit all people, is the mark of a functional and caring society. Crucially for all of us, Africa needs public sector professionals who provide the leadership, behaviour and standards to meet the challenges and grasp the opportunities of the future.
Public value must be at the centre of all strategy, of all investment decisions, in public as well as private enterprise. And we also know that the more that accountants can do in bringing that vision to reality, in strengthening trust in the public sector, the better it will be for everyone.
Discussants share thoughts on enhancing effective public service reforms, reviewing public sector financing vis-a-vis capacity and professionalism. Financial sustainability of governments and value creation are also areas of concern.
It is very important that as professional accountants organizations are working together with the members, we are able to engage the stakeholders on capacity development. And when we're talking about engaging the stakeholders, we should be able to identify, motivate, and mobilize our stakeholders.
Africa is moving towards a viable future, and the public service plays a significant role in making this happen. The role of finance professionals and institutional leaders in the process is a talking point as well.
There are a lot of liabilities that we are actually carrying. Therefore, how do we ensure that ESG and sustainability issues are part of the trade or even the contracts that we sign?
The Association of Chartered Certified Accountants is helping to drive improved service delivery in the Nigerian public service through capacity building in areas that will bring about the needed reforms. Lara Folayo, TVC News, Abuja.
Well, shares of various companies recorded higher prices for the second day this week as the first quarter trading ended. Let's join Effiong Ekop for detailed reports on markets.
It was another day of positive transactions at the nation's stock market, where closing data for first quarter trades threw up gains on many shares. In the afternoon, trade index rose by 0.14%, pushing up stock prices. Major Paints recorded a 10% push on its stocks as fund managers bought into the company. Other gainers were Mansard Insurance, First Bank Holdings, Cotsville, and Okomo Oil Palm. On the downside of trades were Northern Nigeria Flour Mills, Nimed Pharmaceuticals, Major Paints, RT Briscoe, and Nigerian Breweries. A total of 256 million shares valued at 3.66 billion naira were traded in market subsectors. Many market analysts said they expected lower transactions in the market in the coming months due to poor economic conditions and political activities. Effiong Ekop, TVC News, Lagos.
Well, lower oil prices look set to boost European and US markets at the open. European futures rising 0.49%. Germany's DAX futures gaining 0.61%. Nasdaq futures up 0.4%. S&P 500 futures 0.15% higher. But shares in Asia were hurt by data showing that activity in China, the factory and services sector, swung into negative territory in March, contracting simultaneously from the first time since the peak of the country's COVID-19 outbreak in 2020. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan fell 0.56%, led by a 1% drop for Hong Kong Hang Seng Index and 0.77% decline for the Chinese blue chips. The euro had at 1 month high against the dollar, having rallied on hopes that the war in Ukraine might be entering a new de-escalating phase, while the yuan was set for its worst month since November 2016. The European single currency rose as high as $1.11 in early trade, its highest in a month, having gained 1.7% so far this week. Overnight, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite were down following similar downward movements in European stocks. And finally, oil prices on the international market plunged more than $5 a barrel today on the news that the United States was considering the release of up to 180 million barrels from its strategic petroleum reserves, the largest in the near 50-year history of the SPR. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude recorded a dip in price of 4.65% to hit $102.80 per barrel. Brent sells at $109.30, registering a downward price margin of 3.74%. Bonnie Light's performance is out of the woods now with a price surge of 3.58%, selling at $114.30. For the OPEC basket, crude dealers offer $110.10, recording a price dip of 2.95%.